Hello beautiful people, my name is Teresa and I am your cruise director on the magical mystery tour that is this channel. Today, Makeup Revisited. What are we pulling out of the collection? It is the palette that gave Morphe all their clout for quite some time. The Jaclyn Hill Palette. So let's get to it, but before we do, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, ring the notification bell to be alerted to any new uploads, and if you like this video at the end, please give it a big thumbs up. Every Monday, Makeup Revisited, we are not using new palettes, we are pulling out an old eyeshadow palette and doing a look. Today it is the Morphe palette. So, the Morphe palette, the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette. This sold millions upon millions upon millions and really threw Morphe into that collaborator space. So, yes. There was a bit of a controversy around it. This version of the palette, this is not the original. This is a repurchase, was not considered as good as the very first one that was bought out. They did change the formula. Going in with, where will we start? Obviously, hold up. I'll go into that one actually. Going in there and just taking that up and under the brow area just to lighten up that space. Nothing too major. Then going in, so this is a really good, it still is the Colour Story, a really good neutral palette. Like most of it is neutral, obviously more warmer leaning, so which is not generally what people are after nowadays. And then it's got those pops of colour, so it's got that mustard in it, and then it's got the blues and the greens. Now today on the top half we're going to keep it fairly neutral. On the top we're going to put some colour under our eye. So if this is sort of good for if you are not 100% sure about using colour, if you're a bit nervous. So just build that up to a point where you're happy, and you can see I'm going in pretty slap hazard because it's just subtle, 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 subtle. Now I want to add a little bit of depth to that, so I think we'll go in here, tap that off, and just back and forth in that crease using a big fluffy brush. Now something to remember is if you don't have the eye space that I do, just get a narrower crease brush. I mean, I've got TV screens here on my eyelids, so I've got all this space to work with. You can still do exactly what I do. You just pull it back a bit. So don't use a brush that's this fluffy. Use something that's got a finer point to it that gives you a bit more precision. Go down here to this deeper burgundy reddy brown and stamp that on the outer corner. On both sides, and then we will blend it out. I'm sort of happy with where that is at. Clean brush now, and just diffusing that. Pull it forward a little bit. And this way we're keeping the intensity, which isn't too intense, but keeping it in that outer corner area and blending out. So then if you need to, you can use that fluffier brush and just dip in and finesse. I've got a crease in my eyelid, right? And it's weird because it's something that I don't quite manage to get eyeshadow in. So I've got, it almost looks like a scar going through. It's just a fold in my lashes. Buffing around the outside of that now. Okay, on the top of the lid, I'm going to use, I think, maybe even that underneath. So, I'm going to keep it fairly light on top. This is a gorgeous shade. Like, this one is just gorgeous. I've used something too similar to that. Even this is very similar, but it's what I'm going in with today, which is the third shade across. Because as I said, I want to keep it pretty light on top. I'm debating about whether or not to hand this on to my sister, because she has this but has pretty much panned everything, and clearly I barely use this one, so she might get use out of this that I won't. Just tapping that, I didn't put any extra on it, just tapping it essentially to help blend that shade. So I've just used a little bit of a blue liner, navy blue liner in my waterline. I haven't gone in too intense with it. Going in now with the blue. And stamping that. And we're going to use the same shade to blend, but we're just using that as the liner to start. So I've just tapped a rather flat pencil into the blue, just straight in, doing that because I don't want too much on there. But I did want a little bit extra on here, just starting to work back and forth. This is quite flat. This is one of the new Morphe brushes. Gives you a bit of control to smoke it out without fluffing it out. And you can see that there. Same on this side. And as we start to blend it out, it starts to pull. I was quite electric blue, and it starts to pull more sort of indigo purplish as it blends. For the inner, just this inner bit underneath, we're going to go in with that green and see how we go. Now clean that brush off and work it a little bit. Just to pull back that intensity. So we're a little bit peacocky underneath the eye. Now that we've cleaned that brush right off, going into on this shade here, and just up on this inner corner bit. Again, and then just up, just literally under the brow, just slightly, just on the high point. So this shows you've got a pretty, like if we cover that, you've got a pretty neutral, warm neutral eye, and then we've got to pop a colour in with it there. What I'm going to do is, I've got some of Jaclyn's own brand products to use. So I'm going to use her, this doesn't exist anymore obviously, going to use her blush and bronzer, and then this was one of her face kits, and I can use this shade as my highlighter. I'm going to do that, do the rest of my face, and I'll be right back with my hair fixed. So I am back and all finished now. All of those products are really good, by the way. But again, pulling out stuff from our cupboard, if you have got that in there and you have avoided those shades, or if you haven't been 100% sure what to do, this gives you just that little pop of colour without it being too much. Super, super wearable. It's obviously you can do it all over your lid as well, but if you're like me and you're leaning more into more of a neutral palette now, which is what I seem to be doing, having been super colourful for so long, this brings it back in that subtle way, as I said. So that is it for another makeup revisited. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget, tell your mum, tell your sister, tell your friends, come along, subscribe, hang out. Until next time, take care, bye.